Welcome in, Monday edition. Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss coming off a 20-17 loss to Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday afternoon in Oxford. Next up, doesn't get much easier on the road to Columbia, South Carolina for an afternoon contest against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Gamecocks coming off a bye week on their season. Dylan Stewart and the defensive line's pretty good. It's where Ole Miss is banged up and having trouble up front a little bit. Lots of content at rebelgrove.com, so check that out as we move forward with the day and the week, again, leading up to Ole Miss and South Carolina. So we'll look back, look ahead, look at lines, do all that good stuff here with you today on a show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well. You know about the lunch specials, $5.69, couple sides of bread, any sides fountain drink. You've got Sweet Daddy's locations all over the state of Mississippi, ribs, pulled pork, side items, and much more. We've got a busy schedule going on. Let them take care of dinner for you. Everything from wrapping it up, having ready to go, ribs, wet or dry, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. You get great service, great product, obviously. And Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they'll want to be your car guy. They'll want to be your truck guy for a long time. They'll prove to you what it means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. So visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
So, getting this a little bit, we'll get to football in a second. First, if you're into baseball at all, the Braves-Mets doubleheader today is pretty interesting. That is going on, I think, like noon and 3, I think, are the times on that. Something like that.
I think that's right.
Yeah, something like that. Let's see. I have it right here.
What happens if they split?
Both teams are in. So, yeah, the Braves, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks are all tied with each other for the final 2 wildcard spots. So you got 3 teams vying for 2 spots. They play twice. They play at 12:10 p.m. and 3:40 p.m. Both games on ESPN2. Like I said, they both teams have the tiebreaker over the Diamondbacks. So the team that wins the first game is in, no matter what. The team that wins the second game, obviously, is in. If one team sweeps the other team, the Diamondbacks are in. So a split, and they both go to the playoffs. Oh. If one team wins both games, the other team is out, and the D-backs are in. So you get 2 opportunities today to win a must-win game. Is the way it works. Diamondbacks just going to sit around, watch game 1, and then root for that team in game 2.
And whoever wins game 1 doesn't have a hell of a lot of incentive in game 2.
None. I mean, you're talking about, I would think you would talk about pulling guys, lineup changes. I mean, I think it's going to be very hard for a team to win both because unless your offense just scores 18 because baseball's funny sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd. So, yeah, I think you're going to see resting position players, obviously not pitching anybody of note at that point. Diamondbacks are the ones that just did this to themselves. They lost 5 of 6 entering this situation.
It happens.
So, oh yeah. What'd the Cubs end up at for the season?
83 wins, I think.
Over 500.
Yeah, I think the exact same record as last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I actually watched their game yesterday just because it was the last game.
What'd you think?
I mean, I just listened. I turned it on and I thought, well, I'll get the Reds broadcast because of the whole blackout thing. But for whatever reason, they let me watch the Cubs broadcast, and so I watched it. It was what I turned on yesterday. I was probably the one person in North America that was watching Cubs Reds instead of NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Saints Falcons and then decided I was done with football for the weekend. That was that. Falcons hit a 58-yard field goal in the last play of the game to win by 2. They 30-yard pass interference penalty set it up. The Saints did not allow a defensive touchdown, scored 24 points, and lost the game.
Wow.
A special teams muff into a touchdown and a pick 6 were the Falcons' 2 touchdowns, and they kicked 4 field goals.
Wow.
So that was the day. It was awesome. Saints now 2-2 after just kind of giving 2 away. Now they kind of stole one earlier in the year, but they probably should be 3-1 right now if you just kind of did it Pythagorean wise. The Falcons, what's funny about it is I saw even like a lot of media people doing the thing today of, hey, look how back they are. They're really not. They beat a mediocre to okay team without touchdowns. Here's a crazy stat. Atlanta has scored 30 points in a game once in their last 60 games.
Oh, wow.
60. It's nuts. Sam Darnold, by the way, would be the MVP if the season ended today. It doesn't. We're only a quarter of the way through. But
Vikings.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, 4-0 for the.
How about that?
For the Vikings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. There's so many things from this. Read the content. We dissected this in the postgame show presented by Realtree over the course of Saturday evening. 10 thoughts up, several stats articles up, a lot of stuff. RebelGrove.com. So it's hard to sort of categorize this, but look. Ole Miss removed the large extent of their margin for error. We've talked the entire time about this season is 10-2 or better, or it is a failure. That still remains the case after you lose to Kentucky on the weekend. So one of those two has now happened. And I saw some stuff yesterday, everybody going, well, now this is a must-win. No, every game is a must-win except for one that you lose. There is no, well, this one is a must-win. That doesn't exist. If you lose to LSU, then Georgia is a must-win. If you beat LSU, then Georgia's not. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. You get one more loss. That's how this thing works. But you wrote it in 10 thoughts.
Yep. And here's the if, and I don't know this. You need Kentucky to be good now. Like, you don't need Kentucky to be a 5-7 team and that be one of your losses where people start splitting hairs. You need the Wildcats to go get some dubs. You need them to be 8-4 or something, and then it's okay. But
yeah,
if you're splitting hairs at the end of the year and you've got a home loss to a 5-7 Kentucky team, it might get a little tight. But we're way ahead of ourselves at this point.
That's the thing. I mean, Neal talked about it a lot in 10 Thoughts. We talked a lot in the post-game show. This next game is fascinating in so many levels. Partly because I think there was a very nuanced middle to what happened on Saturday. Ole Miss is not suddenly a terrible football team because they lost by one play to Kentucky. Kentucky's very good defensively up front. They cause you tons of problems, and that's what got Ole Miss. Kentucky had one way to win, and they won the game that way.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them. They did it. It's not an excuse in any way. Just saying that was the deal.
They had a great plan, and they stuck to it.
Yeah.
They were able to extend the game. They dominated time of possession in the first half.
Took advantage of your mistakes, all those things.
Which is typically an overrated statistic, but I didn't think it was an overrated statistic on Saturday. They stopped Ole Miss from having a lot of possessions and a lot of opportunity, and I thought Ole Miss panicked a little. No one's going to ever admit that, but I kind of thought they did. And then they created the one turnover of the game, and it was a huge moment in that game because Ole Miss, it felt like Ole Miss was about to go take control of it. They forced the fumble. I thought the call was right. I saw some people saying he didn't catch the ball. I actually had that one on my binoculars live, and I thought they got it right live. And then when I watched the replay, I'm like, yeah, they got it right. That was a big play, even though Kentucky did nothing with that possession and had to punt.
It took points off the board. Yeah.
It probably took 3 points off the board, maybe 7 points off the board. It changed the flow of the game. And Lane admitted this after the game. He was big about it. I mean, I think they were taken back a little when Kentucky went for it, 4th and I guess it was 7 from their own 18, I think.
11, I think. Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Just 7?
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was 7, but it might have been 8. It might have been 11. It doesn't matter. It was 4th and fairly long. And, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And they went for it and got it. Made a big play. And then they got a little lucky break. The backup quarterback fumbled the ball, but it went right into the tight end's hands, touchdown. And then Ole Miss kind of got a lucky break on the play where the safety didn't see Prieskorn slide behind him on a broken play. You get that play, but then you can't capitalize on that at all, and you miss the kick. And so Lane talked about it. They missed plays in every phase of the game, and all in all, Kentucky probably played a little cleaner game, and it got you.
Because that's what I'm saying. There's so much here because – look, Ole Miss, I wrote about yesterday. That offense got really discombobulated and weird, and I don't understand enough football to tell you exactly what happened. But I know that when you don't use a wide receiver outside of Trey Harris, it's not working correctly in the way you would draw it up. It just isn't. It's not about Harris having 11 catches and 15 targets, because I understand they were using Harris in the RPO game as the run game. They did not think they could run inside on Kentucky, so they were throwing it to Harris immediately in the RPO. I get that part. But I had the stat this morning, and I get that one catch still would be 25% because everybody's running a route. But Ole Miss had 2 catches out of 120 pass plays outside of Trey Harris. Caden Lee had 2 for 19 yards. Juice Wells had 2 targets. Nobody else caught a pass. They used the running back 6 times in the pass game. They used the tight end once, the catch to Prieskorn, then he went for 42 yards and slipped behind, as you said right there. So the offense was discombobulated in that way.
Yeah.
They didn't even try to run the football. They had one legitimate rushing attempt in the entire first half that wasn't predicated by something else going on the field.
It was as if they just didn't believe in it.
Yeah, just literally wasn't even trying, nothing at that point. It was what it was. Lane mentioned it last night on the teleconference that Kentucky is really good on the interior, and he did not believe that they could run inside at that point, and that's why they were doing that, and they were so pass heavy earlier in the game. So it just kind of is what it is at that point. That's what was going on. So you have those things, and then the penalties. And Lane has talked about the penalties. He said it's going to be who they are. They're going to be physical. They're going to use their hands. They're going to do those things. Well, number one, it's going to make you where you reach and grab and get called for penalties because they're legitimate. And also, which I think is what happened a couple times Saturday, especially on that drive at the end of the first half, which was just in hindsight, a back-breaking drive for Ole Miss because they couldn't get off the field, and you give up the lead right there before half. Kentucky gets the ball out of the break, even though you get a 3 and out. All those different things. 2 of those calls were really nitpicky, but you're getting a reputation now for grabbing. And is that right or wrong? That's
right.
Not for whatever. Because I don't think Hamas held, and the referee that was 40 yards away threw the flag on the pass interference, which makes no sense ever. But you are grabbing a lot, and now you're going to have to deal with, right or wrong, officials start expecting things because they have seen them in the past. It just is what it is. So they have all these different situations going on, and it led to Kentucky winning this football game. Now, moving forward, you have a really banged-up offensive line, even though we thought that they were kind of getting healthy. Lane mentioned last week and intimated they were, but you look at the actual stats on Saturday from a participation standpoint, they played 6 offensive linemen. Caleb Warren didn't play. Jeremy James is out. Jerquan Scott played like 9 snaps.
Let's be real here. They refuse to be honest about injuries. Yeah. I mean, they're not even honest on the SEC report. I mean, it's just a part of what they do. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether that's a paranoia thing or a gamesmanship thing. I don't know. It's to a point where you have no real idea other than the people that they list as out, as who is or is not going to play. I'm not criticizing it. It just kind of is what it is. So when they say this on Monday and Tuesday about stuff, the real coy answers. I mean, Caleb Warren was not listed on the injury report. That led one to assume that he was going to play. Jerquan Scott was not really listed on the report. That led one to believe he was going to play. They really didn't play.
Yeah. Scott played 9 plays and frankly didn't play well. He faced 7 pass plays and gave up pressures on 2 of the 7.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Offensive line continuity is an important thing, and they don't have it right now. I thought they missed Jaden Williams. You talked about that a lot. I thought they missed him a lot on Saturday.
And I don't think he's back. I mean, the rumors are fairly significant. Now, we don't know, so I'm posing that as a rumor right now. I do not know. But from what I've heard,
that is a significant storyline for Saturday.
Yes. Dylan Stewart is over there.
Carolina is very athletic on the edges. They're big. They're physical. Look, I said this on Saturday. I've thought about it for 48 hours, and I'm even more convinced. I think this is the biggest week of Kiffin's Ole Miss career.
Oh, I mean,
because a loss on Saturday, let's play the game. a win on Saturday and you can catch your breath and go, okay, if you go to LSU and win, you sort of traded.
Yeah, you're okay into the open day.
You sort of made a swap. You traded Kentucky for LSU.
Don't lose another one you're not supposed to, and then go 1-1 in the two big ones, and you're probably okay.
You're probably okay. You need Kentucky to bail you out a little, but you're okay. You lose Saturday, I think it's night-night. I mean, I hate to be that way because I know what we do, but if you go 0-2 out of the gate, you make Georgia a must-win. That's not a good thing. You make at LSU a must-win, not a good thing. And Oklahoma defensively is going to give you some fits. You suddenly just create this angst that I think would be suffocating.
Well, it's more than that. I mean, it's what we've talked about. And again, this isn't. You can have the on-field stories and the off-field stories, and you have both those going on. From an on-field storyline, you need to win the game because you need to win the game. All the things we're talking about, get to the open date with win-loss.
Yeah.
Also, keeping everybody engaged and still in it because you got a lot of guys who are just here for 1 year. A lot of guys getting paid to go try to compete for a title or playoff or whatever you want to talk about that. And at 0-2 in the SEC, that gets problematic inside locker rooms. It just does all across the country. You see it every year. It's part of what hits A&M every year is they get these early losses because they just are weird, and then it spirals on them.
Agreed.
The off-field thing, and it's what Neal wrote in 10 Thoughts a little yesterday, is The Last Dance. It's probably got some issues to it. It does. It has issues to it.
It does. It's flawed.
On 1,000 different ways.
Flawed messaging.
And it's the main one is that it's not where you're trying to get as a program. I understand in micro how it happened, but where you're trying to get into a program is every year you're set up for a high level of success, knowing that sometimes weird shit happens and you just move on to the next year and you rebuild. And over the course of time, it averages out, and you're going to have the year you get lucky and the year you get unlucky, but you've got this proof of concept resume where you get into the playoff more often than not and all this kind of things. And from an on-field standpoint, or from a coaching staff to a players to even some admin stuff, even though it's indirect, it's sort of become this deal of this 1 year is so damn important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the retooling it has to do from a roster standpoint. And it's because, as we've mentioned, collectives and fundraising and all these things, they're not a year in advance. They're like 2 months in advance at good ones. It's month to month. It's pledges versus in hand everywhere you go.
It's flawed.
This isn't the way. Frankly, it's one of the things that's going to happen as time goes on is contracts, because we keep talking about contracts. From a legal standpoint, it's hard to put contracts on somebody when the person delivering the contract has no capital to produce the amount. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Contracts become void in some ways because you look at the balance sheet and go, it's not there to do that over the course of the year anyway, so how is this contract even valid from a straight business standpoint of the contract? So point is, I think this game for momentum and fundraising and morale and the tangible and intangible of all those different things, you're exactly right. It's the most important game of the Kiffin era. And, that's such a weird thing. Because I tell you, when you talk about most important of something, I get a little bothered sometimes because that's just in general. You're creatures of the moment because, is this game from an Ole Miss program standpoint, was it a bigger deal than Ole Miss Arkansas in 15? And it's like, you know what I mean? It's a weird deal because you win that, you probably wins the West, you get to go to this championship, all that kind of stuff. But for a moving forward, it is absolutely this stress point that I think is way bigger than just simply one game on a record and a win-loss before you go to Baton Rouge in another week. I think it either resets you or it throws you off into turmoil, one or the other, or at least has the potential of throwing you off into turmoil. You're not a 5 when this game is over. You're kind of back to like a 7.5, and you go, that was shitty, but it was okay. We'll go win in Baton Rouge, and here we go Rebs. Or you kind of go down and you look at it and go, because it's what I've told you. It's what happens when fan bases get ownership of teams. You paid for the roster. You have an investment in a higher sense than you've ever had in your entire life. It's more expensive to go to games. It's all these things that creates a higher level of investment in the program and a higher level of emotional swings, positively and negatively, as the game plays out because of the world that we are in right now. So because of that, you're going to look at it and go, was it worth it? Was it not worth it? You're constantly doing this in your head of, is this what I want to do with my discretionary money, time, all these different things? And it's played out to a hyped up level. Because like I've said, look, it's a lot of schools around the country, when they start losing, are going to bail on NIL. And they go, it's not worth it. And then look, a lot of times it's not going to work out. Only 12 teams can make the playoff. Really 11, because a group of 5 team gets in. Now, being in that tier of teams that pay is the only way it might work out. I can guarantee you that. But it's not some guarantee it's going to work out. And I think that's sort of where everything is kind of sitting right here. I mean, as GJG says, yeah, it's shareholders questioning management of a public company, and it brings into injury reports. Frankly, it brings into, while it's another topic for later, then I'll shut up and let you talk, is while we are doing all we can, and all you can do is ask Lane Kiffin about Ulysses Bentley. All you can do. We've asked. He's answered. He's the coach. We don't see practice. We have no way to argue with Lane Kiffin about what he says regarding Ulysses Bentley, and he has answered the question in the way that he sees fit. At the same time, I completely get fans going, well, hold on a minute, what the hell? He averaged 5.7 yards per carry. You say he's healthy, and they need a freaking running back, and we're paying for the roster, so why the hell is he not playing? You do assume a certain amount of shareholder-type responsibility in that gives you the right to have that question and be pissed off to a higher level than you would have prior to 2 years ago.
I think I wrote this yesterday. It was the thing that interested me maybe the most on Saturday was, yeah, you knew there'd be a meltdown after a loss. Losses result in meltdowns. But the meltdown felt more personal. People were taking individual shots at different players and such. And a lot of it was based on the look I give to the NIL. And it's, to me, it's, and I've told you, so this is not a, hey, well, convenient of you to say this after the Kentucky game, Neal. I've been on this train for a long time. A long time. I think it's a flaw in the system when you ask fans to pay for the players. Because the truth is, the fans, the ones that give $20 a month, was it $21 a month?
That's the lowest level, yeah.
I saw where a couple schools have done this. Hey, let's give them the $10 a month option. I saw that recently. You're lying to the fans. You're going, hey, we really need your $10. Without your $10, we can't do this. If enough of you give $10, it's not how fundraising works. The people that are paying the players are the big corporate donors. I'm not talking about Ole Miss. I'm just specifically, just in general. And the big donors that write the big checks. That's what pays the players, because that's the money you can, quote, count on, end quote. But when you do this deal where you tell fans, hey, give us $21 a month, give us $30 a month, give us $15 a month, whatever magic number works at your school, give us that a month. They think they have ownership.
Look, it was the brilliant thing. It wasn't, I mean, back in the day, Clemson did the IPTAY, I pay 10 a year. And was that doing some monumental thing?
But that wasn't to buy the players.
No, I know.
Right,
but there's an ownership and a feeling like, hey, I'm in.
Yeah. So when you say, hey, give us this money to buy the players, without this money, we can't have the players, we can't compete, and the fans put the money in, and then you don't win the games, they go, this is absurd. This is an affront. This is my investment not paying off. And I think I've long said this, and if I end up being wrong, great, cool, doesn't matter. But it feels, if I were in the room, hand raised guy, to be like, what if it doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? What if a bunch of them do give you $20 a month and you still don't win? Then what? Now you're just pissing them off.
But again, it's on the way you might win. In general, NIL, not the guys.
I don't know. It made me wonder if maybe a program needs to be, I mean, I'll give Tennessee credit here, where Tennessee goes, you know what we need to do? We need to raise ticket prices and tell them up front this is paying for it, where this is guaranteed money, where this is what this is, where this is what we're doing.
It makes them just as pissed off, though. They still gave the money.
Or maybe you completely go in and you revamp your entire organization from a athletic department standpoint and go, we're going to take X millions of dollars and we're going to pay the players.
Well, that's that whole other thing going on right now where you have to be okay with doing that, even though nobody knows whether it's legal or not.
Sure. So my point is I don't think the asking the fans to give this in their words, minimum. I think it's flawed. I think it's dramatically flawed. And what I saw Saturday made me go, huh, maybe I'm more right than I thought I was.
Well, results tell you if it's flawed. If you're winning, it's the best thing in the world because they're buying everything and they feel like they are.
But everybody
go team.
can't win.
No.
Everybody can't win.
It works until it doesn't.
And when it doesn't, it really doesn't. And so the answer can't be, well, instead of 20, maybe you should give 25.
And I still think it's a lot of Ole Miss fans, but any team that's sort of in this thing of dealing with a different level of expectations. You've never, ever, ever had a season where 9-3 was failure. And mentally, there's a difference to that. I mean, because look, has the reaction
100%.
to the loss been really any different than the other loss? No, you guys are really pissed off for a day. You kind of went through the stages of grief. You laughed about it a little more yesterday. And for the most part today, everybody's on to South Carolina. It's the way it works. But no, it's a different dynamic. It's a dynamic that only a few teams have really gotten year over year over year, which is 9-3. It is not what we are here to do. That's a different level of watching a season. It's not like the NFL. The NFL, you can lose 7-8 times. Doesn't matter. It's cool. Giants have won a Super Bowl as a 6th seed. You can do it. This isn't that. And 9-3 is a different deal. So, all right, we'll come back, talk more about it in a second. First, you've had Wendy's Nugs dipped in sauce, but if you haven't covered in sauce, Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Let's see. We'll have the Thursday hand raise, guys. That's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. I had a post-game column on Saturday. Chase has referenced it a little bit. That was brought to you by Window Hero. I'll have one from Columbia as well. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, everything in between. Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. Roby and Susan Allen are dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi with their windows, gutters, and everything in between. So call Window Hero at 662-510-7077 to get an estimate, or go to windowhero.com. Elevate your game day look with socks that financially support the Rebels. Every step you take shapes the future of Ole Miss athletics. Visit deadsoxy.com and choose a subscription to receive the latest in Ole Miss styles every month or at an interval that best suits you. With a subscription, you'll receive 25% off member pricing, free shipping, and a free gift with your first order. So take the next step, upgrade your socks. As always, stay Soxy. Ole Miss grads Hunter and Mimi Simpson form Southern Q Sauce Craft Barbecue Sauce. Southern Q is crafted by hand in small batches to capture that tangy, sweet, smoky taste with just enough heat. The original recipe features the deep South flavors of apple cider vinegar, sweet brown sugar, tomato, and hickory. It's a blend of Tennessee, Mississippi, and the Carolinas with the sweet, smoky finish. They also have a variety of rubs, so check them out. Whether you're a professional pitmaster or an occasional backyard chef, Southern Q has the sauces and rubs to have your friends and family coming back for more. Go to southernqsauce.com. Use the discount code RebelGrove for 15% off your order. We'll have another MPW Digital Extra to you on Thursday. It's presented by Rustic Revivals, based out of Flowood, Mississippi. Rustic Revivals builds tables and other furniture by hand with locally sourced lumber. The husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom-ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, chairs, and more. They also have a limited selection of ready-for-pickup available items in their shop. You can go to rusticrevivalsms.com, enter the promo code REBELS10, and you get 10% off your purchase. You can also check them out on Facebook, Instagram, at Rustic Revivals. You can order directly by calling 228-217-1243 or email rusticrevivals@gmail.com. 10 Weekend Thoughts are up. They're brought to you by Andrew Seago, Seago Wealth Management. He specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or you prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what he can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Again, stress out about the Rebels, not your money, at rebelsretire.com.
Speaking of, they jumped on this morning. Maybe they knew what they were doing. The show sponsored by BetterHelp. Halloween lets you have fun with what scares us. What about those fears that don't involve zombies or ghosts or football teams? Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears, finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. Give therapy a try. I've done it. You can talk to people with, no preconceived notions, no emotions, no thing that they've already bringing into the conversation, just there to help you. And BetterHelp can assist with that. So if you're thinking to give therapy a try, give BetterHelp an opportunity. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists at any time for no charge, video on or off, whatever you need it to be. Overcome your fears and visit BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp.com/MPW to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/MPW. Yeah, I mean, look, all these things are just kind of where they are right now as a program, and you're going to know a ton more about the fan base, the team, everything in 12 days. I mean, it's a hellaciously critical 12 days to just not really about the team, even just in general, to kind of see where this thing is headed and kind of what the mindset of your level entire program is.
Your level of focus.
Mm-hmm.
And look, they're walking into a fresh South Carolina team coming off an open date. The opinion of I talked to somebody close to the program yesterday who covers them. I think the feeling is that Lenore Sellers is back. He'll play. I think the expectation is that Rocket Sanders, who's off to a really good start for them after a miserable season last year at Arkansas, looks like he's back to his 2022 form. Defensively, they are just really, really, really athletic. Their people are excited.
Yeah, they're not as good in the middle as Kentucky, but they're really good on the edge. They're better on the edge.
Yeah, they're disruptive, and they're athletic on the back end. Look, they are a stupid block on Garrett Nussmeier away from being 4-0, nationally ranked, and this thing being hopping on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you'll get just a little bit of a less of a hornet's nest because of it'll still be a hornet's nest, but it'll be a little less of a hornet's nest because of one play.
But Ole Miss will have to play really well, and if they don't, it's going to get squirrely. And they're going to be focused on Juice Wells. There's going to be nasty. They're going to be loud. They're going to all those things. It's a big. There's no way around it. It is a big moment. You've dropped a game to Kentucky. You have to win. You really need to go win both of these games on the road. You don't want Georgia to be a must-win. We'll talk about Georgia in a minute, I'm sure. You don't want that game to be a must-win. I'm not saying you can't beat Georgia, but you don't want that game to be, hey, this is a season breaker. That's not smart. It's huge. And we're going to find out a lot about kind of focus, and there's a lot of stuff from the very beginning of it that I'm pretty interested in, just to sort of see how this week, it won't be visibly different, but is it different? Is Saturday different? And just some of the approach things. And then look, it's not their fault, but they didn't play anybody in the first 4 weeks of the season. They played one team that has a
little bit of a
flicker of a pulse. They played three teams that are flatline. And that's not their fault necessarily, because the weight game got scheduled a long time ago and is what it is. But in hindsight, I wonder if they look back and go, boy, I wish we'd kind of played somebody. Just
anybody.
Yeah. Anybody. Like, when you look up at the end of your non-con and went, well, Georgia Southern might be okay. That's usually not the greatest testing ground.
Mm-hmm.
And, here we are. I thought they were a little cocky last week. I did. I mean, again, when you're a program that's used to feeding off no respect, and you get so much respect that the respect's boiling over the top of the pot, I do think it's different. So maybe this week they'll be able to dial into that a little bit, because there will be some people who start to count them out. That, lost a home game to a team that was 0-2 in the SEC. It's a little misleading. The South Carolina game got away from Kentucky fast, and they played Georgia tooth and nail. But
facts are the facts.
They were 2-2. They
It's the kind of game that if you're a championship team, you just find a way to win. Yeah. That's what Ole Miss people are smarting by today. Is that you saw it all, you see it all across the country every week, is that, you played like crap and this team kind of gave you something, but you just sort of found a way to do it. So what Alabama did to Arkansas last year. Arkansas kind of piddled with them, and then they just found a way to win. And Georgia did it in Missouri 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you get somebody shot and it gets down that one lane they got, but you go, okay, now whack-a-mole, quit. Let's move on.
Lane talked about that yesterday. They had some chances to build a 2-score lead, get Kentucky out of its game plan. Didn't work. I mean, and we have already done it. I'll do it again. I give Kentucky a lot of credit. They made plays when they had to have plays, and those plays count. They forced a fumble. They converted that long pass to Brown. People talk about a push-off. You're never getting that call, ever. No one calls that.
Part of that's because the announcer said it was the reason that. Because McElroy said that was a perfect push-off in the description.
Right. And it was. I mean, I went back and watched it. It was. They're not calling that. The calls on Amos in the second quarter were pretty weak, but the call at the end of the game is fine. I mean, you're not getting that call. You just give them credit, but you got to. It's over now. I mean, today's that day that if you're them, you've really got to turn the page. It's going to be Saturday afternoon before you know it. I've been to that stadium enough times to know that's a weird place to play.
It is. They can get you,
and they'll be geeked up. A lot of people there still without power. This is going to be kind of an escape from reality a little bit for some of their fans, and it's a big opportunity for them. And it's probably not the best business to say this. You lose this game, I don't care if it's by 1 point, 13 points, 18 points. You lose this game, it's not realistic. And at that point, I remember before the year, and I'm talking too much now, I'll shut up. But before the year, we did best case, worst case. And worst case was you dropped the Kentucky game. And it created this desperation. In an old model, it'd be fine. Whatever. You still have everything kind of in front of you. You're good.
You still get to the Orange Bowl, whatever. It's fine.
But in the new model, now you've put yourself back to the wall on October the 5th. You lose in South Carolina, and you're realistically not making the playoff. I mean, I guess it's still on the table, and there will be the Pollyanna types will be like, we can still get there. And you're right. You can still get there.
Mathematically, you're still
But
alive.
You've created a really difficult situation. And then, like you said, you start asking about what happens inside the locker room. What happens with guys going, hey, look, this isn't what I signed up for. I got to make sure I don't get hurt. Maybe it's time they got people in their ear that are going, hey, don't get hurt now to try to get to the Tax Slayer Bowl.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid. And so some of that stuff starts to creep in, and then the schedule's still very brutal. You still got LSU coming off an open date. You've still got to play Oklahoma. You still got to play, obviously, Georgia. And you still have – and look, I'm going to keep this part real. You lose Saturday, and as odd as this is, it will make the noise get louder.
Yeah, of course. Austin, thanks for super chat. Kind of answered this. It says, where does this week stand on the list of most important football games in Ole Miss history? For a plethora of reasons, it feels high. Ask me after it's over. I mean, this era makes everything more magnified, as Neal just said. So in that way, it's up there. But I'm just having a hard time putting a September game when you're 4-1 and haven't played anybody in the list of 03 LSU, 15 Arkansas.
No,
I
absolutely
can't do
not.
that.
Well, because here's the other part too: is in a world where you don't win. Part of what you have to talk about is, well, maybe you weren't as good as you thought.
Yeah. I mean, I had some.
And in a world where you do win, all it does is it takes the LSU game and says, okay, now this is really big.
I had somebody text me a minute ago who knows football pretty well. It said they look kind of like you run the risk if you lose more games of being like the NFL team that goes out there and does all the free agency and it just doesn't work.
Sure.
the Eagles a few years ago.
You see it in the NBA all the time.
Yeah.
You see it in Major League Baseball. You see it in all sports. Sometimes you can put a team together that on paper looks really good, but in reality is not. And I'm not saying this team is that. It's way too early to say something like that. In fact, I anticipate that they will be really sharp on Saturday. That's my guess.
Yeah. Siski's already taken them in your contest. So
Yeah.
he's laying the 10.5 or whatever it is. I'll get there in a minute.
Yes, I think it's 9.5, but whatever. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's. I anticipate that they will play really well, but in a world where they don't, I mean, the list of questions has to go beyond what happened between the ears, and some of it is what happened between the lines.
This is sitting in front of me just because Texas State is the first game of the weekend on my schedule with odds, but they have been offered an invitation to join the Mountain West. Pac-12 also potentially interested in Texas State, and they've already told Sun Belt officials they are leaving in one way or the other. So Texas State leaving the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt looking at expanding now. They're even talking to MAC schools about maybe grabbing some MAC programs to join the Sun Belt. And then beyond that, and one of these would be pretty interesting for you, knowing all the dynamics there. The 4 schools they think most likely to join the Sun Belt: Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, and Liberty.
That'd be good for the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been a fit for Tech. They just have to swallow their immense ego. And maybe they've gotten to a point where they've lost enough money where they will.
I think that's the thing. So jumping on some lines, got Houston plus 16 at TCU on Friday night. Friday night, Michigan State plus 23.5 at Oregon. Ducks in Autzen giving 23.5. UNLV giving 5 at home to Syracuse. It's an opportunity for Barry Odom there with the running Rebels of UNLV.
He's positioned himself well for the offseason.
They are using their buyout money or their league money to try to keep him, but good luck. There's only so much you can do at UNLV to try to keep Barry Odom past this season.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
I would too. SMU coming off that big win over Florida State, handled the Seminoles on Saturday in Highland Park. Chance to make a little national buzz here, sort of.
Hey, for anybody, if your season goes badly, you can just say, well, at least we're not Florida State. I mean, I don't know how much comfort that'll be for anybody down the road, but
that's been hell in a handbasket over there, though, hasn't it?
God almighty.
What's their board doing these days?
I haven't looked.
Complete apathy?
I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of the same thing. Hey, we asked you guys to pay for this roster, and the fans go, okay, we did.
And you suck.
Now what?
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to credit to the guy because he doesn't miss much, Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
Better spend the $20 million the right way.
Yeah. Look, the Mets lose.
I mean, they did. The Mets lose a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mets aren't, I mean, it's day 163, and they're not in the playoffs yet.
No. 2 wins by Atlanta today, and the Mets don't go to the playoffs with that payroll.
It can't always be nothing but money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, money's a part of it, but it's got to be more to it than that. You do have to have infrastructure. In Florida State, maybe, and I don't know the dynamics of their program at all. It could be as simple as they lost a good quarterback and replaced him with the bad one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a rough look where they are right now.
SMU getting 7 points from Louisville on Saturday morning. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Louisville, SMU.
Weird spot for Louisville.
Coming off that loss.
Coming off of a kind of a deflating L.
Wake Forest, which dropped a game to Louisiana Lafayette on Saturday in Winston-Salem. Speaking of Ole Miss's non-conference schedule to date, they are only getting 5 from an NC State team that was very overrated in the preseason as well. So NC State -5 in Raleigh against Wake Forest. Not going to add that one to your viewing schedule on Saturday morning?
No.
I mean, you'll be in the hotel. You can turn it on.
Yeah. My experience with Columbia, I will get to the press box as early as is allowed.
Really?
Yes.
Undefeated Navy. Are they still undefeated? They get beat Saturday.
I thought they won.
They win? Okay.
But I don't know that.
They're favored by 8.5 on the road at Air Force on Saturday. Air Force sucks.
Yeah.
So, Missouri, Texas A&M, 11 a.m. Interesting game in College Station.
Oh, huge game.
Aggies coming off the win over Arkansas. Didn't play great. Got it done.
Mm-hmm.
A&M -1.5 against Missouri. They're favored at home against the Tigers. This is one of those games for Missouri. If you're a team, you just find a way to win the game. It can be ugly. It can be whatever. Just come out with one more point than the other team, and who cares?
Yep. Because at this point, they just got to put W's together. They don't have to have pretty wins. Just win.
Yes.
Like, the proof of it is that they could have and probably should have lost to Vanderbilt, but they didn't, and they're still okay.
Yeah, nobody says, hey, but. No, you won or you lost.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So I don't know what I'm doing there yet. I actually kind of like Missouri on the road, even though I've been sort of fading them.
I kind of want to see what A&M does with the quarterback position. Nothing against Marcel Reed, but
it's limited.
He's not going to beat a good team.
Penn State giving 28.5 against UCLA this weekend. It's a lot of points for Penn State.
Yeah.
What'd they end up beating Illinois by?
14. Penn State
cover for the Illini.
Illinois played really well.
They did.
Penn State they're good. Penn State's really good.
Wisconsin minus 13 against a Purdue team that just fired Graham Harrell, their offensive coordinator, over the weekend.
That'll fix it.
They miss Jeff Brom. There's your analysis for the day.
Big time.
They miss Jeff. Jeff was good for them. Tulane on the road in Birmingham, 14.5-point favorites for John Sumrall and his wave against the Blazers.
Lay 'em.
You circling that one maybe for
Probably.
Thursday?
Well, I'm going to have somebody do the picks for me. But
You're not doing them again?
Nah.
How'd it turn out with Campbell doing them?
I think she went 3-7-1.
Okay.
Which is better than what I did the week before. So
Did Siski have a good week?
I have I'm sure he did.
Okay.
The disparity in football viewing and knowledge is really showing up. I mean, Tyler watches football. If the game's on, he watches. I don't.
There's a good chance he was still up at like 1 a.m. watching whatever the 11 o'clock game was on Saturday night.
Oh, for sure.
Hanging out, just had it on.
Yeah. Yeah, just that there's a disparity that kicks in. It's no fault of his, but he would be better served having.
Yeah, you're the basketball team that Mike can win in the overtime period, but as it goes on,
he needs to. This would be more fun if he competed against somebody who was more football knowledgeable and who liked the sport more than I like it. I like it fine, but I'm not a junkie.
Auburn and Georgia, 2:30 Saturday. Georgia, hell of a game, hell of a comeback. Kept their heads. Because I had sort of given up on it. I had flipped over to Illinois.
Oh, I've got a hot take on this.
Okay.
Not even a hot take. We're going to see these two teams again.
They're
going to play again. Number one, Alabama, their plan early was elite. They jumped all over Georgia. But I was so impressed, even as they were being blown out by Kirby Smart. In that moment, he was so encouraging. He wasn't jumping anybody. He was encouraging. And I'm going to tell you, I thought they showed an absolute ton of character to come back and to take the lead in that game.
Because you could have been like, hell, this just isn't. It is what it is today, boys.
They came back and fought. I mean, they were relentless. All of a sudden, Alabama's defense had no answer for what they were trying to do offensively. We can pick on Carson Beck, and he had a bad first half, but he had a pretty good second half. And I know it doesn't work like that, but they took some things away from Milroe in the second half, and they got back in. And then Alabama makes the play, and we can do the Williams is 17 joke all you want. The kid is an elite player.
Yeah, it was the one snapshot. It's what you're talking about. I guess Bama had just scored their 28th point. And Kirby is just positively coaching on the sidelines. They flash to him in one quick picture, and I mean it's all clapping and hey, come on, we're good. Just hey, we're cool. Just come on, let's get a drive. It's not. He's not throwing headsets. He's not breaking anything. It was very.
And his team fed off his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They were workmanlike. I thought even though Georgia lost the game, they got an absolute ton out of that. Now. They got to go win games now
because they have two left and they can't lose them both.
But
they have Ole Miss and Texas. They have to win one of them.
They showed some real.
They did
resilience. If
that was a tough place to play, I think it might be the toughest place in the league to play when it's really hopping at night. I think it's past LSU in that way. I know Tennessee can get crazy too, but
no, it was rowdy.
Yeah,
they fed off of it. And then for Bama not to panic after they lost the lead and to come back and get it. I mean, again, you're talking about monsters. Mm-hmm. You're just two monster teams, just loaded. They're not those two programs. It was almost like the message was being sent to Texas, hey, don't get too comfortable.
Yeah. Crown doesn't fit yet, bud. Got a little to go. Auburn catching 24 here in Athens on Saturday.
I mean, it's a big number.
The number feels too big because Auburn is not bad. They're poorly coached, don't have quarterback play, and they just lose games. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So if you told me they stayed within 20, okay.
And Georgia won't be flat.
They'll be sleepy, though.
A little bit sleepy, probably.
31-13 wouldn't blow you away in this game, and that's an Auburn cover.
Yeah, it's about right.
I mean, it's not in doubt. They're not going to win.
No.
We're not calling the upset here.
Georgia will win the game.
Yeah.
Period.
And then Ole Miss, they're giving 9.5. It opened at 11.5. Now giving 9.5 to South Carolina in this game. It's a big number.
The number feels big. I mean, what's Ole Miss doing up front?
Would the number feel big if Kentucky misses the fourth down? And you go, hey, Ole Miss survived. Good job.
Yeah, it'd still feel a little big.
Okay.
Because I watched what happened at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. I take my binoculars and I stare at the line of scrimmage, and there was nothing fluky there.
And look, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll hear more today, but I doubt it. Frankly, I don't think we'll ever hear more. Jaden Williams, if he's out, is a humongous loss in this game.
Well, and it might be.
I think he might have been the most important offensive lineman on the team. Like,
sure, he's your starting left tackle.
Yeah.
And without him, you have to. The way you do your run game has to be centered around pass protection.
And I just didn't think Lane's comment had much positivity to it.
No, they're going to do some more tests. And
no update on Jaden, doing some tests, seeing trainers today. Valuable piece for us. People have to step up. Hard test to step into. Did a good job yesterday, and Diego can continue to improve if that's the case. Played half the snaps anyway. Meh.
Yeah.
Not a lot there.
No.
That's just kind of where it is.
I've got where I don't read anything into or not into his injury answers. He's purposefully vague, which is fine. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying when people go, what do you think about that? I'm like, I don't really think much, whatever. I mean, they'll either play or they won't. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't play, and if he does play, he's not 100%. And if he doesn't play, they're going to have to be better at left tackle. But like you said, that's not where they got beat on Saturday.
Got beat inside.
They got beat in the middle on Saturday. A lot of disruption.
And that's what I'm saying. If you're healthy, Caleb Warren is a good run blocker. So he didn't play if he's not healthy. Mm-hmm. And then Jerquan Scott was really good in camp. They liked him. They brought him in and paid him for a reason. He played 9 snaps.
I think they didn't run the ball because they didn't think they could.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know that.
He basically said that last night.
And I think they were so concerned about Kentucky eating clock, eating possessions from you.
But you panicked
and
a little bit.
Got out of your character a little bit. Because that opening drive was interesting. They marched down the field. Kentucky I was watching them with my binoculars. They were completely winded. And then their offense drove and let their defense breathe. And they came back, and if I remember right, it was a 3-and-out. But it might not. It was a quick possession. And suddenly that time of possession thing began to
because even in the first, you get that big score, and then Kentucky goes 3-and-out, and you do it again. Kentucky might have went to hell with this today. I'm not chasing these guys all day.
And you mix in the TV timeouts, which are 2 minutes and 50 seconds, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. You start mixing those things in.
You have a minute to get your bearings.
And offensively, if you're not on the field, you get a little cool. Mm-hmm. You lose. You're not out there much. You lose momentum, and you have to go generate that momentum. And when you are immediately in 3rd and long, and Ole Miss was in it a lot, it's tough.
Mm-hmm. We'll look at more lines in a second. First, Citizens Bank. You're not just an account number. You're a valued member of the community, and now you find yourself in the market for a mortgage. Another reason to give them a try. Whit Wilson, many of you know in the mortgage space, is now at Citizens Bank and ready to help you with your real estate goals. So stop by and visit 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford to discuss your options with Whit, or one of their experienced bankers who values your unique financial journey and makes every moment uniquely yours. Also ask about the School Spirit debit cards, whether you're pulling for Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. They donated a portion of every transaction to the school of your choice. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
Brought to you by Grenada Home Center. Grenada Home Center has paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paints, Farrell, Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone, countertops. Whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else, they've got window treatments, plantation shutters, to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive, Suite H in Grenada. Call them at 662-226-3127. We flip to October tomorrow, which means you're getting closer and closer to the holidays. which means you need to start thinking about your gifting. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lammon's Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer everything from jewelry repair to engagement rings, wedding bands, pearls, diamond jewelry, and much more. As I mentioned, they're great for gifts, birthdays, graduation, anniversary. They can also help you get ready for Christmas at Arnett's. They want to be your jeweler. College Corner coming up later this month for football, basketball, whatever the case may be. Stop at the College Corner. If you're on your way to Columbia, stop at the College Corner on your way out. Get the latest Rebel gear, more than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. Plenty of parking available. Their staff's going to have you in and out, ready for the Grove in no time. It's opening they're open at, like I said, in Oxford. They've got 2 locations in Jackson. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com. We're brought to you by Wonderbird Spirits, Mississippi's only gin distillery. Wonderbird is located on Old Taylor Road between Oxford and Taylor, just minutes from the square. They have a 7,500 square foot state-of-the-art distillery operation on 20 acres of magnificent Mississippi farmland. If you're coming up for the Oklahoma game, the Georgia game, you want to book a private party, you can do that at Wonderbird. They offer a tasting room, grounds, bathrooms, and a catering room on site as part of their packages. WonderbirdSpirits.com, Instagram at Wonderbird Spirits. Also, you can email them info@wonderbirdspirits.com or call 662-205-0779. We're brought to you by Argent Wealth. They're based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They provide clients expertise in more than 20 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Argent, investment is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So they'll sit down with you. They'll study your expenses. They'll put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, Spark offers both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabytes. To learn more, register for your service, visit anyspark.com. That's AnySpark. Get connected. Stay local. Let's look at the rest of the lines coming up for the day. Indiana and Northwestern and that big tilt. But look, Kirk Cignetti's done a hell of a job there in Bloomington. Hoosiers are undefeated, and they are giving 14 in Evanston, Illinois against Northwestern on Saturday afternoon. They're going to win another one. They're going to move to 6-0 there for the Hoosiers. They've got an outside shot at really making some noise with an upset. I mean, I don't think they're good enough, but the schedule's not bad. It's pretty doable.
He's done a really good job. They'll have to fight to hang on to him. They're
a win over Nebraska and not stubbing a toe from at least the possibility of a 9-3, 10-2 kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean, did a really good job at James Madison. He brought a lot of those players with him. Mm-hmm. And they're scoring points.
Virginia Tech coming off their heartbreaking loss to Miami last Friday night. They are giving 6.5 on the road in Palo Alto for that ACC matchup between Virginia Tech and Stanford coming up this weekend. So there's that.
Oof. Oof.
I still don't know how they overruled that call on Friday night. I don't think he caught the ball, but I don't know how you overrule it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's where I'm a big transparency person. You need to make those reviews where people can hear what's being discussed.
And unique because the officials don't do it. So if you're not going to do it, just get rid of it. Quit saying it has to be indisputable evidence from on the field, because that's not what you're doing. You're going into review and deciding what you think happened.
Right.
Which is not the same thing.
Well,
so just stop saying it.
And if you don't let people hear what's discussed, you make them wonder if they're discussing, hey, look, we really need Miami to win this.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody in the ACC
Do I
goes,
think that happened? No. I don't.
But there's no visual evidence that you saw that ball not be called. None.
No.
So at best, you just guessed that was the correct call. And you completely ignored what happened on the field. Again, because unless they have angles we don't have.
And they don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, watching it, and I was watching at the end, I thought, I don't think he caught it, but I didn't see enough from the replay to overturn what was called.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They could learn a lot from Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball sort of sticks to that. Like if the call on the field stands unless there's enough there to absolutely overturn it. They're pretty good about that. And so there's not as much conspiracy stuff. This creates conspiracy. Lack of transparency always creates conspiracy. Always. Not good. It's not good for the sport.
UConn giving 14.5. I wonder when the last time the Huskies gave more than 2 touchdowns to an FBS team. Temple sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
sucks.
I got nothing.
I watched them in the opener against Oklahoma. They suck.
Yeah.
Your Hawkeyes are in Columbus on Saturday.
We didn't play last week, right?
If so, I did not see it.
Yeah.
Catching 20.5 in Columbus.
Need more than that.
Don't think it's enough?
Probably not.
How's Iowa doing?
I think they had the one loss, the narrow loss to a really good Iowa State team.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
2019?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oklahoma
Had a 10-point lead or a 9-point lead and lost it late.
Oklahoma State giving 4 to Neal Brown in West Virginia. Talk about 2 programs both licking wounds to the early starts to their season.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy lost 2 huge games in a row. Got popped by K-State.
West Virginia will probably make a change, and then at that point you go, how attractive is your job? Like,
yeah, who are you getting?
what are you doing? Where are you right now in this era of college football?
And it's going to be a weird spot for Neal Brown on what his next job is. Feels coordinator-y.
Yeah, it could be.
Now, it'd be a damn good one, but I think that's kind of where that's headed. Not a traditional Big Ten matchup here, but what has turned into a pretty fun game on Saturday afternoon, I think. Rutgers at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Schiano's done a hell of a job in Piscataway, Nebraska. They're fun. I like watching them. I like Matt Rule.
And if they'd beaten Illinois in overtime, everybody's still all over the Nebraska. It's it's insanity of it all. But yeah, Rutgers is physical now. They'll hit you.
Bama now gets to not take as big of a breather when it's Vanderbilt, but get a little bit of a breather giving 23.5 in Nashville on Saturday. They'll just win.
Yeah.
They'll just win.
They might go dominate that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a big win for them Saturday. That was big.
Think they're going to be kind of moving a little?
You could sort of feel the exhale. I mean, Caden DeBoer was like, whew. Kalen, not Caden. Kalen DeBoer was like, whew. All right, I can move on.
We can just play now for a minute.
There's a lot of oxygen in that stadium with Saban in the stands and on doing game day all day and Trump there. And there was just a lot going on that you kind of couldn't blow that party.
That was a really hard day for him.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be. So now he gets to kind of, all right, let's just go to Nashville and coach a football game. My guess is they thrive in that environment. And defensively, they're pretty good.
And they figured out a good plan for Milroe. He can run around and give you fits. And
he's a competitive son of a bitch now.
Yes.
That kid, young man, he's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
He is a fighter. I mean, there's no quit in him at all.
Let's see, 21-point line movement from what you could have gotten this on August the 15th. Clemson giving 16 to Florida State. Florida State was a 5-point favorite 6 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. And you know what? Clemson's playing really well. Yeah. I won't be surprised if this is Dabo's opportunity to go, hey,
just pop them.
We're back.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, Georgia beat us, join the club.
In fact, I kind of like that pick.
You like Clemson minus the 15 or whatever here?
DJ going against Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
Another opportunity for Dabo to go see.
Mm-hmm. Coastal Old Dominion on Saturday. Utah State, Boise State on Saturday.
It's just there's not a lot this week. We just have 6 games.
Speaking of the Dukes, James Madison giving 15.5 to UL Monroe on Saturday.
Monroe got another win.
Beat Troy 13-9.
Something like
I
that.
believe.
Yeah.
I saw Hartwell's Facebook post. I
Yeah.
think it was like 13-9.
Yeah. I mean, James Madison's really good. So
this will be a chore.
They'll beat ULM, but if you told me ULM fights them a little bit, I buy it.
The Cajuns, coming off that win in Winston-Salem, they face Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, and they are giving 16 points on Saturday. Will was in deep shit.
Probably lay them. Yeah. You could hire anyone right now at Southern Miss, and
you can't get it done.
It's not going to matter.
Yeah, it's not him. It's a program. South Al giving 3.5 to Arkansas State in Jonesboro on Saturday.
That's a good game.
Is it?
That's not a bad game.
Okay.
They got popped at LSU. LSU played really well Saturday night.
Tennessee giving 13.5 to Arkansas.
Lay 'em.
Yeah.
Lay 'em. That's it?
13.5.
I might lay 23.5.
It opened at 10.5.
So there you go.
And it's up to 13.5.
Lay 'em.
Yeah. If we hadn't already locked in, I'd be trying to lock that right now because that would be still going up. What are you looking for?
I was looking to see who Tennessee had next. They have Florida next.
Okay.
That's not big enough to make them overlook. They'll be ready to go.
Okay. Baylor, Iowa State on Saturday. Iowa State giving 13.5. USC giving 8.5 on the road in Minneapolis against the Gophers. A little bit of a trouble spot there. Need to play well.
Yeah.
Minnesota can get frisky on you for a minute. Michigan, 3-point underdog to Washington at home in Washington. Is that right? I thought Washington was kind of really average.
They are.
Michigan's is getting 3
in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michigan,
is that really right?
Michigan's not world beaters either now.
No, I know, but okay. Florida's favored on Saturday.
Yeah.
Against the Knights.
Yeah.
UCF did not show well against Colorado. Got pretty dominated.
I kind of like the Gators in this game.
-1.5.
I
1 or 1.5, depending on the line of your choice.
I kind of like the Gators.
Okay. Georgia Tech giving 7.5 to Duke. Is Duke still undefeated?
I don't know.
Okay. They were going into the week. I have no idea what they did on Saturday. Oh, they lost to North Carolina, I think.
Oh, really?
I feel like did they not?
I don't know. I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
Duke won 21-20.
Oh, okay. They came back. Are they undefeated?
Duke. Yeah, they're 5-0.
So Mac Brown has gotten 70 put on him by James Madison and lost to Duke in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yep. That job's coming open.
You're not Florida State. You're not North Carolina either. Wow.
Yeah, Duke 5-0. How about that?
Who's their coach? Oh, Tony Elliott.
Is that right?
Is it not Elliott? No, he's at Virginia. Who's the Duke coach? He's
Manny Diaz.
There you go. That's right. That's right.
I did a deep dive on Manny Diaz in 2011.
You talked to his dad?
I did.
I believe.
I did talk to his dad at length.
That's what I thought.
Well,
Arizona State at home giving 2.5 to Kansas.
UNC football program actually finds a way to top last week's brutal outing, is what Keeping It Heel wrote.
Oh, really?
News and Observer. If Mac Brown thought JMU debacle was bad, UNC meltdown against Duke is somehow worse.
Hold on a minute. Keeping It Heel? What's the name of that website?
Keeping It Heel.
Okay.
That famous, this is, let's see who's writing this. This is Andrew Carter. He says that famous Mark Twain line, the one about reports of his death being greatly exaggerated, was itself an exaggeration. Twain never actually put it like that, not exactly. It was, in fact, a little more understated and direct. The report of my death was an exaggeration. Then he goes into Mac Brown being basically dead.
Basically dead. Could you have kept a straight face at Auburn yesterday?
No.
With that question in the press conference?
No. Couldn't do it. I mean,
reporter with the perfect voice to be the guy to ask this question. Ask you for comment on a legendary, apparently, quote. Only says the man says it at first and then uses Pat Dye's full name to
Patrick
give him
Fane Dye.
to give him credit at the end of the. There's not been more of a moment in Hugh's life that he wished he was back in Lynchburg than right then.
Or Oxford.
Either way, anywhere.
I actually
felt bad for Hugh in that moment.
In that moment, I actually felt bad for Freeze.
It went.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, I thought, what'd he say? Do you even know his answer?
I don't even know his answer. I wouldn't have blamed him if he just said move on.
He's got to be careful though. He can't insult Pat Dye.
No.
Can't. Whoa, hold on.
No, they have a mess on their hands. He's going to get more time because he's done all of the stuff. I mean, look, he did the smart. Credit to him. He went out and did all of the, and I'm being hyperbolic when I say this, lighting of the Christmas trees, pancake breakfast, chicken dinners, kiss the babies. He's built up enough capital to give him another year. Now next year gets big for him. Whoa.
Can Cal scare Miami and Berkeley on Saturday?
Probably not.
ACC matchup, by the way.
Yeah, they can't score enough.
Okay. Cal is actually the closest team to Ole Miss in penalties per game. They get flagged all the damn time.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is one of the most penalized teams in the country 2 years in a row. They were 7th or 9th last year, and they're like 2nd or 3rd this year.
You get a reputation.
Yeah. Just is.
And I don't know how you get it or what happens to get it, but they've gotten it.
And then on Saturday night, when you get back to the hotel and you just need to see a little more football and keep your feet up, Texas Tech is in Tucson to play the Arizona Wildcats. That game is starting at 10 p.m. So
I've got another 6 a.m. flight Sunday. Those are brutal.
At least the game's at 2:30.
Thank God. 3:30 there, but yes. 3 hours earlier than the weight game was.
Oh.
So you do the math on that. I got 2 hours of sleep after the weight game. I've got a chance to get 5 or 6, which is much more doable.
That's true. Take our final break. Tell you about Johnston Hill Creamery, johnstonhillcreamery.com. Look, it's a long time to the next home game. You got a good many weeks before that, but go ahead and write it down. Head over to Johnston Hill Creamery. You look at all their different options. You can order right there online. They feed 10, 20, or 40, depending on whatever you need through their website for all your catering plans. And look, they do catering for anything, so it doesn't have to be a game day. Give them a call. Go look at the website. Go stop in. They're located in Chicory Market now, and they'll take care of you with locally homemade cheeses they make every single day. Tons of different condiments. Pepper jelly is fantastic. Feta dip, and plenty more. So if you're hosting a party, you just want to try some snacks, you're putting together a charcuterie board, whatever it is, let Johnston Hill Creamery help you out. Again, that's johnstonhillcreamery.com.
Yeah, I can't imagine a Lane Kiffin question on that. Oof. We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Worldwide network of travel partners that he belongs to is called Virtuoso. It supplies his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. So get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He's going to give you options that you probably won't find on your own. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com. If you're a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands, if you're an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. You've got nothing to lose. It's 100% free. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. I'll have a mailbag to you on Wednesday. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email art@arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. We'll have picks up on Thursday. They're brought to you by Kaiser Flooring with locations in Batesville and Oxford. Kaiser Flooring provides outstanding flooring products and installation services to residential and commercial properties. Kaiser carries the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. Their goal is to offer amazing and durable flooring products and superior services to make your life easier. Their staff's always ready to ensure that they complete your flooring project to your satisfaction. So get in touch with them for a free estimate today. KaiserFlooring.com or call them in Oxford or Batesville. And we're brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James, a full-service investment team based in Jackson, providing financial planning and investment management to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Ryan and his partners are a local team that utilize the strength and resources of a national firm to bring their clients an impeccable level of service. This includes access to investment strategies and portfolio managers not available to all investors. If you're interested in a no-obligation consultation or you just want to be added to the monthly market update email list, reach out to Ryan Geary with Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James at 601-368-2215 or ryan.geary@raymondjames.com. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Will you watch any baseball today for that doubleheader?
Yeah, I like playoff baseball.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah. No, it's definitely playoff baseball. If you lose both games, you're in trouble, right? Got to win one. So, yeah. And then I think there's some series starting tomorrow. I'm interested in the Tigers at the Astros. And
Major League Baseball is to blame here, though. There was a way to avoid these Monday things. Like this thing got bungled all the way
with
through.
the storm and stuff. They saw it coming.
Yeah, they just completely screwed this up. This should not have happened.
It's that stubborn thing of, well, we can't move the game until we have to move the game. No, you could preemptively move the game.
Because now the pitching is just screwed.
And whoever wins has to turn around and start Wednesday with the new series. You might roll through your whole bullpen today. But yeah, if whoever wins that first game today, you're not pitching anybody in the second game.
Oh, you're throwing the manager. It just doesn't.
Yeah, just
because you have the tiebreaker too.
Yeah. If you win the first game.
That was my understanding, I think. I'm a little confused, but I think that is correct.
Oh, Matt Jones tried to do his post-game show in the Grove and got kicked out?
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because of what?
I don't know. First I saw of it. It's from Grind in the chat.
Okay.
I didn't see Matt at the game.
I followed his Twitter because I was just kind of curious. He was cracking me up all week with executing that as well as he did. But no, I knew that they did the pregame show in the Grove because I saw that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't know. I'm wondering if it was a Grove closing situation just because the Grove does close.
Because it closed at like 6:30,
It's
right?
6, I think.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could even be something related to that, even though I don't know that. But that's my guess. Yeah, so what is the schedule for baseball? Do we know that?
I looked at it yesterday. Let's see. I'll pull it up on my trusty little app.
I got it right here. I got it. So Tuesday, we know already Detroit's going to play Houston at 1:30 on ABC.
Yep.
We know Kansas City is going to play Baltimore.
I'm interested in that series too.
3:00.
Yeah. And then one of the NL wildcard teams plays Milwaukee Tuesday afternoon.
And the other one
goes to
San Diego. So they're both playing tomorrow.
Yuck.
Both on the road tomorrow.
And then games Wednesday.
Basically the same slate.
And Thursday. Why are there no games Friday? That's a mistake. In baseball, you have momentum in postseason. You should play every day you possibly can that's not named Saturday or Sunday. No Friday games. Saturday games and Sunday games, but no Friday games. That's an error.
What's the deal?
I don't know. I guess those are travel days.
Oh, it's travel days. Yeah, that's why.
But
I just staggered the things where somebody plays.
Somebody played Friday.
Yeah, that's why, because you play 2 and then go and then do whatever. But yeah. Braves have a 6-5 win-loss lead on Mets with 2 games remaining. So if they split, the Braves are the number 1 wild card team,
okay.
or the number
3,
the 2 wild card team.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because the Padres are already in.
Grind says Ole Miss Athletics said it's because you can't have wires running out of buildings into the Grove.
Oh.
So he called it BS. Ginger said some fan told him to go home and vote for Kamala Harris when leaving the game.
Matt's going to have an easy day of radio today.
Yeah.
Really easy day of radio.
Could be an easy Monday.
Yeah, that's one of those where
Show prep? No show prep.
No,
We're
I'm good. Just hit the
show
button.
up.
We'll talk.
Just talk. It's a big win for them.
It was.
It's a big win for them. Big win for Mark Stoops. They have a good team. Not a great team, but they have a good team.
The Rice guy, big loss for the Chiefs yesterday. ACL tear, they think, for the Chiefs' number one wide receiver. So, who are not winning comfortably. I'm not buying.
They're just winning.
Yeah, I'm not buying.
Baltimore beat up
Hammered them.
Buffalo, right?
Hammered them. Yes. They were up 4 scores when I turned it off last night, something like that.
Carson was celebrating the Bears win that he watched one play of.
Oh.
Hey, we won. I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Real invested.
Cool.
Real invested.
Cool.
Bengals got to win.
Yeah. They don't look right.
Commanders 3-1. Jaden Daniels, the early MVP, rookie of the year for sure.
Oh, for sure. Not surprised.
Hammered the Cardinals.
I've talked about this. I'm just not surprised. He's super talented.
Bo Nix won a game throwing for 60 yards yesterday. Broncos beat the Jets 10-9.
Did the Bronco player that had to be carted off, is he okay?
I have not seen this. I don't know.
It looked like he just collapsed.
Oh, really?
Yep.
At one time yesterday, Nix had completed 7 passes for negative yards.
Oh.
Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Ginger says I can hear his show being played in the next room right now. Yeah.
Easy day for him. I mean, just he was hopeful for a script, and here we are. It's played out exactly that way.
And they're off this week. They get to.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because I know how his radio show works. Like that.
He gets to milk this for a full week.
He does.
And all the Ole Miss people who call in and take the bait, you're
helping him.
You are taking the bait.
Yes. He's been fishing for you, and you are giving him.
He is telling you, "Hey, I'm throwing bait into the water here," and you're biting it.
Mm-hmm.
It's on you. I hate to even ask this, but there's another show that we sometimes discuss. What was the topic today?
I don't know.
It didn't happen.
My assumption is I told you guys all along this was coming. Is my guess.
No, he didn't.
I'm just. That's my guess.
Never.
It's my guess. Yes. Bobby Witt won his first batting championship yesterday. Finished with a 332 average. 332 won it.
Look, in a lot of years, he wins the MVP. He won't win the MVP, but in a lot of years, his season would have won the MVP.
All right.
I mean, he's really. What were Shohei's final numbers, by the way? Did he hit 55? Stole 50-something?
Because he won 2 segments of the Triple Crown. He didn't get average.
Yeah.
Errors held on to become the third player since the first player since the 1800s to do it for 3 different teams. Won a batting title with 3 different teams. So there's that. 2024 season, Shohei Ohtani, 310. Oh, so he won going away. 390 OBP, 646 slug, 1,036 OPS. 59 stolen bases, 54 home runs.
Wow.
So he went 54-59 on home run stolen base.
Wow. He pitches next year.
He pitches next year, yes. They might have underpaid him. 6'4", 210.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So
I heard a story. It was Rob Lowe, who's a big Dodger fan.
Yeah.
Did you hear the story?
No.
So Rob Lowe is going to throw out the first pitch at a Dodger Stadium game.
Okay.
And they gave him access to the clubhouse and stuff. And so he walks into the Dodgers clubhouse, and Shohei Ohtani is in a chair wearing like gym shorts, his jersey top, and like flip-flops. He's chilling, it's 3 hours before the game. And Rob Lowe asked him, "Can I get a photo with you?" And Ohtani says, "Yes, can you give me a few minutes?" And he says, sure. Shohei Ohtani disappears, and when he comes back, he's fully dressed. Pants, belt, stirrups,
He went and got dressed.
Cleats, the whole thing, to take the photo with Rob Lowe. And then during the game, the Dodgers publicist who's sitting with Rob Lowe gets a text. And it's Shohei Ohtani asking him, do you think it would be okay? Would it be okay with Rob if I posted this on social media?
He won't know if Rob would be okay.
So on top of everything else, he is apparently a very conscientious person.
So he was actually somewhat enamored with Rob Lowe.
Or just felt like if I'm going to take a picture, I need to be properly dressed.
Yeah.
Because he was just hanging before the game. You know, T-shirt, had his jersey on.
Way it works.
The jersey was unbuttoned. He just had on some blue workout shorts. And he had his flip-flops or whatever on because he was just chilling.
Yeah.
Probably getting ready to get work done. Or had finished doing some work and was just
there.
Chilling. Baseball players hang out a lot in the...
Huh. Really?
Yes. That was an interesting story. I thought it was reflective a lot of Shohei Ohtani. It was really hard to cheer against.
I mean, I'll sprinkle some. I'm getting asked about Bianco in the stream. I'll sprinkle some stuff as time goes on. I'm not writing baseball right now. It's not baseball season. I wrote the thing yesterday because I thought the Austin Simmons thing was interesting to me because Austin had said earlier I think Neal covered the press conference earlier in the month that he planned to, but said he had to get an MRI. And Mike was very, very, very non-committal from a health and hey, he's trying to be the starting quarterback next year standpoint. Mm-hmm. I read Mike as going, I don't see him out here when it gets down to it. And look, I don't either because I know nothing about his individual condition. But throwing a football and throwing a baseball are two completely different things, and he still probably will require some type of procedure to be 100% healthy for baseball.
And if he's going to want to be the quarterback, and I'm sure
he can't miss time,
he's going to have to go through spring. Yeah. And they're going to want him to be around the team and lead and all of those things.
Yes. So my guess is no, but that was why we were doing that at that point. I
did write basketball. It's at rebelgrove.com. It's just kind of a notebook. There's more basketball content coming soon. The whole video is up on our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it. 22 minutes. Chris Beard's a pretty interesting interview in media settings because he gives very long, thought out, detailed answers that are not coach speak typically. Pretty interesting stuff. If I have learned with him, if you ask a good question, you usually get a really good answer.
Yeah, we're not too far away from that getting going. So basketball, baseball, plenty of football, and more. RebelGrove.com back in the morning with another edition of Blue Sky Live. I'm assuming there's a McCready and Siskey this afternoon. Lane Kiffin speaking close to noon and more. So have a good day. RebelGrove.com in the meantime, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.